yes.
Yes, oh my God, yes. I love you.
The diamond ring sat in a black velvet box on Jinwoo Kang's desk. 8 carats, flawless, worth more than most people made in 10 years. And the woman he was about to give it to had no idea she'd walked into his life 3 months ago and destroyed every wall he'd spent 40 years building. Nia Thompson was 23, cleaning his mansion for minimum wage, trying to avoid his gaze because she knew, God, she knew, that men with his kind of power always wanted something. What she didn't know was that in exactly 48 hours, this billionaire Korean mafia boss would get down on one knee in front of his entire staff and ask her the question that would change both their lives forever. If you believe that sometimes the heart knows before the head does, that chemistry doesn't care about age or circumstance, and that some proposals aren't just about marriage, they're about choosing life over loneliness, stay with us. This story will make you believe in the impossible kind of love. Hello, everyone. Before we start, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, like the video and share with loved ones, and tell me in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is there. That way, YouTube will keep showing you stories just like this one. Now, here's something important. We're doing a holiday love stories series, and we want lots of people to indicate interest. We're creating beautiful stories of unexpected proposals, age gap romance, and proving that love doesn't follow society's rules. If you want to be part of this, comment "more proposals" right now and share this video with everyone you know. We need more subscribers to make this the biggest, most heartwarming proposal story collection ever. Now, let's begin. Jinwoo Kang was 40 years old the morning his wife walked out. Not walked, fled. Packed her things while he was at a business meeting, left her wedding ring on the kitchen counter of their Bel Air mansion, and sent a text that said simply, "I can't do this anymore. You're not a husband. You're a ghost." He'd stared at that text for exactly 10 seconds. Then he'd deleted it, poured himself whiskey at 11 a.m., and gone back to running his empire. That was 8 months ago. 8 months of living alone in a 15,000 square foot mansion that echoed with the absence of someone who'd never really been there anyway. 8 months of his staff tiptoeing around him, of business associates commenting on how focused he seemed, of his father calling from Seoul to ask when he'd find a proper Korean wife who understood their world. 8 months of feeling nothing. Jinwoo had built his life on control. He was a second-generation immigrant who'd turned his father's modest real estate investments into a billion-dollar empire that spanned luxury hotels, tech startups, and, though few knew this, the kind of underground businesses that required guns and silence. He was ruthless when he needed to be, calculating always, emotional never. His wife had been perfect on paper. Korean-American, Stanford MBA, understood the business, looked good at charity galas. Their marriage had been a merger, not a romance. When she left, he'd felt relieved, which was probably why she'd left. At 40, Jinwoo Kang was devastatingly handsome in the way power makes men handsome. 6 feet tall, lean athletic build maintained by a personal trainer who came to the house at 5 a.m., sharp Korean features that photographed well, dark eyes that saw through people's bullshit, salt and pepper hair he'd stopped dyeing because it made him look distinguished. He wore Tom Ford suits that cost $8,000, drove an Aston Martin, lived in a house that had been featured in Architectural Digest. He had everything. He felt nothing. Until the day the cleaning service sent Nia Thompson. She arrived on a Tuesday in late March, part of a 3-person crew from Elite Home Services. Jinwoo barely noticed the cleaners. They came twice a week, did their job, left. He paid the company $800 per visit, and never learned their names. But Nia Thompson was impossible not to notice. She was 23 years old and looked like trouble wrapped in a cheap uniform. Not trouble in a bad way, trouble in a, this woman is so beautiful it's actually dangerous way. Deep brown skin that seemed to glow from within, high cheekbones that could cut glass, wide dark eyes framed by natural lashes that couldn't be real but were, full lips curved in a professional smile that didn't quite reach her eyes, and a body that made her blue cleaning company polo and black pants look like designer wear. She was 5'8" of perfect hourglass curves, the kind of figure 8 shape that made men stupid. Full hips, tiny waist, everything in proportion, everything moving with an unconscious grace that suggested she had no idea how stunning she was. Her hair was natural, thick black coils pulled into a high ponytail that bounced when she moved. She wore no jewelry except small gold hoops, no makeup except maybe lip gloss, no perfume he could detect over the smell of cleaning products. She was the most beautiful woman Jinwoo had seen in years, and she wouldn't look at him. He noticed because he'd been in his home office when the crew arrived, door open, watching them work with the part of his brain that was always assessing, always calculating. The other 2 cleaners, middle-aged women who'd been coming for months, greeted him politely. But Nia kept her eyes down, focused on her work, moving through rooms like she was trying to be invisible. Smart girl. His head of security, Marcus, a former Marine who'd been with Jinwoo for 6 years, wasn't smart. Jinwoo heard him in the hallway, voice too friendly. "You're new. What's your name?" "Nia." Soft voice. Polite but not encouraging. "Nia. Pretty name. You from LA?" "Yes, sir." "Sir?" Marcus laughed. "I'm not that old. How old are you, 20? 23. 23. Man, you make me feel ancient. You got a boyfriend?" Jinwoo appeared in the hallway. Marcus straightened immediately. "Boss, just making conversation." "Go check the perimeter." Jinwoo's voice was flat. "Now." Marcus left. Nia was still looking at the floor, cleaning spray in one hand, cloth in the other, very carefully not reacting. Jinwoo studied her for 3 seconds. "He won't bother you again." "Thank you, Mr. Kang." She knew his name. Of course she did. The company would have briefed the crew. "You can look at me." "I don't bite." She looked up, and Jinwoo felt something he hadn't felt in years, a kick to his chest, a flutter, something. Her eyes were incredible up close, not just dark brown, deep brown, like earth, like the kind of rich soil things grew from. Intelligent eyes, wary eyes, eyes that had seen things. "How long have you been with Elite Home Services?" he asked. 3 months. "You like the work?" "It pays." Not, "I love it," or "It's great." Just, "It pays." Honest. "What's your last name?" A pause, like she was deciding whether to answer. "Thompson. Nia Thompson. All right. Welcome to my home. You need anything, you let me know directly. Not Marcus, not anyone else. Me. Understood?" "Yes, sir." "Jinwoo. Call me Jinwoo." Her eyes widened slightly, like he'd broken protocol. I'm supposed to call clients Mr. Faj or Mrs. I'm giving you permission, Jinwoo." "Okay, Jinwoo." The way she said his name, soft, uncertain, her voice doing something to the syllables, made him want to hear her say it again. He walked away before he did something stupid. She came back Thursday, and the following Tuesday, and every Tuesday and Thursday for a month. Jinwoo found himself timing his schedule around the cleaning crew, found himself working from home on those days instead of going to his office. found himself inventing reasons to walk through rooms she was cleaning, to ask questions, to watch her work. Nia was good at her job, meticulous. She cleaned like she was erasing evidence, getting into corners other people missed, organizing things without being asked, treating his expensive belongings with care. And she was kind. He noticed it in small ways. The way she thanked his housekeeper, Mrs. Chen, for coffee, actually asking about her daughter's wedding planning. The way she helped the other cleaners with the heavy work, even though it wasn't her assignment. The way she fed the stray cat that hung around his property, sneaking it food from her lunch. The way she smiled at people. Real smiles for the staff. Professional smiles for him. Like she knew the difference between people who had power and people who needed kindness. She was kind. And every man on his staff noticed. Not just Marcus. All of them. His driver Carlos asked about her. His personal assistant David mentioned her. His chef made comments about the pretty one with the smile. They all wanted her, and she deflected them all with the same polite distance, the same professional courtesy, the same way of being friendly without being available. Smart girl. But Jin Woo saw through it. He saw the way her hands shook slightly when she cleaned his office while he worked. Saw the way she was careful never to touch him, even accidentally, maintaining distance like he was radioactive. Saw the way she left rooms when he entered, finding excuses, staying invisible. She was afraid of him, not afraid of violence, afraid of this. Whatever this was building between them, she felt it too. That should have made him back off. Instead, it made him want to get closer. The breaking point came 6 weeks after she'd started. Jin Woo was in the kitchen at 2 p.m. on a Thursday. Unusual, he was normally gone by then, when Nia came in to clean. She didn't see him at first. He was standing by the window drinking coffee, watching the city sprawl below his hillside mansion. She entered, cleaning supplies in a caddy, ponytail swinging, those curves moving in ways that should be illegal in a work uniform. She saw him. Froze. "Sorry, I didn't know you were here. I can come back. Stay, I'm just finishing coffee." She hesitated, then nodded and started wiping down counters on the far side of the kitchen, as far from him as possible. They worked in silence, him drinking coffee, her cleaning. Finally, Jin Woo spoke. "Why do you avoid me?" Her hand paused mid-wipe. "I don't. You do. Every time I enter a room, you leave. Every time I try to talk, you give one-word answers. Why?" She didn't answer. "Nia, look at me." She turned, those earth-brown eyes wary, guarded. "Why?" he asked again. "Because you're my client. I'm your cleaner. That's all this is. That's all this should be. Yes, but it's not." Silence. "Is it?" he pressed. "Mr. Kang. Jin Woo. Jin Woo." She said it like a plea. "You're 40. I'm 23. You're a billionaire. I clean houses. You're you, and I'm me. This isn't... We can't. Can't what? I know what men like you want from women like me. Do you? Yes. I've seen it before. The powerful man. The young woman. It always ends the same way." "How does it end?" "With him getting what he wants and her getting hurt." She was crying now, silent tears running down her beautiful face. "So I'm avoiding you because I can't afford to lose this job. I need this job. And if I let myself, if I let this be more than it is, I'll lose everything." Jin Woo set down his coffee, crossed the kitchen, stood in front of her, close, but not touching. "What if I told you I don't want what you think I want? Then I'd say you're lying. What if I told you I haven't felt anything in years until you walked into my house? I'd say you're lonely and I'm convenient. What if I told you you're wrong? She looked up at him, tears on her cheeks. Am I? And Jinwoo did something he never did. He told the truth. My wife left me 8 months ago, said I was a ghost. She was right. I built this empire, this life, this version of myself that doesn't feel anything because feeling things is weakness. And then you showed up and cleaned my kitchen and smiled at my staff and fed a stray cat, and I felt something. I don't know what, but I felt it, and I want to feel it again. That's not a good reason to pursue someone. No, it's not. But it's honest. Nia wiped her eyes. I can't do this. I can't be your experiment in feeling things. I have a life. I have dreams. I'm saving money for community college. I'm trying to build something. And if I let you in, if I let myself feel this too, I'll lose focus. I'll lose everything. What if you gained everything? Men like you don't marry women like me. They use us, and I won't be used. She left the kitchen, left him standing there, and Jinwoo realized something that terrified him. He wanted to marry her, not use her, not play with her, marry her. The realization hit like a freight train. He'd known this woman for 6 weeks, barely knew her story, definitely didn't know if they were compatible beyond this insane chemistry. But he wanted her in his life, permanently. He'd spent 40 years being calculated, making smart moves, playing the long game. Screw it. He was making the craziest move of his life. Act 2. The Intervention. Jinwoo called his jeweler at 4 p.m. I need a ring. What kind of ring, Mr. Kang? Engagement ring, 8 carats minimum, flawless, platinum setting. I need it by Saturday. Silence on the other end. Then, Mr. Kang, I'll make it happen. The ring arrived Saturday morning, $850,000. He barely glanced at the price. Now he just needed a plan. Tuesday, Nia arrived with the cleaning crew as usual. Jinwoo intercepted her in the foyer. Can I talk to you? Mr. Kang, I need to work. 5 minutes, please. She followed him to his office, stood by the door like she might bolt. I'm sorry, Jinwoo said. For Thursday. For pushing. For making you uncomfortable in your workplace. It's okay. It's not. You were right. You're here to work. I'm your client. I crossed a line. She nodded, relieved. But I need you to understand something. I'm not good at this. At feelings. At pursuing women. I had an arranged marriage that failed because neither of us loved each other. I've spent my whole life building wealth and power and forgetting to build anything real. And then you walked in here and reminded me what real looks like. Jinwoo, let me finish. I know I'm 40. I know you're 23. I know the age difference is huge. I know I have power and you don't. I know every logical reason why this is a terrible idea. But logic doesn't explain why I can't stop thinking about you. Why I rearrange my schedule to be here when you're here. Why your smile is the best part of my week. This is crazy. I know. You don't even know me. I know you're kind. I know you work hard. I know you're smart. You talk about saving for college, which means you have goals. I know you're careful with people, which means you've been hurt. I know you're beautiful, but you don't use it as currency, which means you have integrity. That's more than I knew about my wife after 2 years of marriage. Nia was crying again. What do you want from me? Dinner. One dinner. Not here. Public restaurant. Just you and me. Let me take you on a date. Let me get to know you. And if after dinner you want nothing to do with me, I'll back off completely. I'll switch cleaning services so you don't have to see me, but give me one chance. This is insane. Completely. You're a billionaire. I clean houses. I don't care. Your family will care. I don't care. Society will judge. Let them. She looked at him with those incredible eyes. Why me? Because when you walk into a room, I remember how to breathe. She said yes. The date was Saturday night. Jinwoo picked her up at her apartment, a studio in Koreatown that probably cost $100 or $200 a month and looked exactly like what a 23-year-old cleaning houses could afford. Small. Clean. Her personality in every corner, books stacked on shelves, plants in the window, photos of family on the walls. She answered the door and he forgot how to speak. She was wearing a simple black dress, nothing expensive, probably $40 from Target or Forever 21, but on her body it looked like haute couture. The dress hugged her curves, showed her legs, made her skin glow. Her hair was down for the first time, natural coils framing her face in a gorgeous halo. Minimal makeup, small gold hoops, simple heels. She looked nervous. You look beautiful, Jinwoo managed. You look expensive. She gestured at his suit. He laughed. Too much? No, you look good. I'm not used to this world. Neither am I anymore. Come on. He took her to Osteria Mozza, nice but not intimidating. They sat at a corner table, ordered wine, and talked. Really talked. He learned she was from Inglewood, raised by a single mother who died from cancer 2 years ago. No siblings. No father in the picture. She'd been working since she was 16, retail, food service, now cleaning, always saving, always pushing toward a goal. I want to go to community college, she said. Get a degree in business administration. Maybe start my own cleaning company someday, something I own, something stable. That's a good dream. It's a realistic dream. I'm not trying to be a model or an actress. I just want security. What would security look like? Not worrying about rent. Being able to buy groceries without calculating every dollar. Maybe owning a car someday instead of taking buses. Small things. Small things that were huge when you didn't have them. Jinwoo told her about his life. Growing up in Seoul until he was 10, when his father moved the family to LA to expand the business. The pressure to succeed. The weight of expectations. Building an empire but losing himself. The marriage that was a transaction. The loneliness. I have everything and nothing, he admitted. I live in a mansion I hate. I run businesses that bore me. I have more money than I can spend in 10 lifetimes, and I'm completely empty. That's the saddest thing I've ever heard. It's honest. Why are you telling me this? Because you asked. Because I want you to see me. Not my money, not my power. Me. She reached across the table, touched his hand. It was the first time she'd voluntarily touched him. I see you, she said softly. They dated for 3 months. Secretly at first. Not because Jinwoo was ashamed, he wasn't, but because Nia needed time. Needed to process that this impossible thing was actually happening. He took her to restaurants, museums, beaches. The kinds of dates he'd never gone on with his wife because they'd skipped dating and gone straight to marriage planning. With Nia, everything was new. She made him laugh. She challenged him. She called out his bullshit. She didn't care about his money, actually seemed uncomfortable when he spent too much, insisting on splitting checks until he finally told her to stop because it hurt his pride as a Korean man raised to provide. Fine, she'd said, but I'm paying you back by cooking for you. She'd made him dinner in her tiny studio, spaghetti and garlic bread, nothing fancy, and it was the best meal he'd had in years because she'd made it, because she'd been nervous, because she'd cared enough to try. His staff noticed. He was smiling, laughing, coming home early, disappearing on weekends. Boss, you seeing someone? Marcus asked one day. That's personal. I'll take that as a yes. Good for you, man. You deserve to be happy. Did he? Jin-woo wasn't sure, but with Nia, he felt like maybe he could be. The complications started when he introduced her to his world. Not officially, just organically. She'd come to the mansion on a Saturday afternoon to swim in his pool, her first time swimming in a private pool, she'd admitted, and some of his business associates had dropped by unexpectedly. The way they'd looked at her, the way they dismissed her when they realized she wasn't someone, had made Jin-woo want to break things. "Who's the girl?" one of them asked later when Nia was changing. "Someone important to me." "She work for you?" "That's none of your business." "Jin-woo, come on. She's what, 20, 25? You know how this looks." "I don't care how it looks." "Your father will care." He would. His father had called 3 times since the divorce, asking about suitable Korean women, asking when Jin-woo would marry again, asking when he'd produce an heir to continue the family business. His father would lose his mind over Nia. Too young, wrong race, wrong class, wrong everything by traditional standards. Jin-woo didn't care. He was 40 years old. He'd lived his whole life by other people's rules. His father's rules, society's rules, the rules of men who measured worth in bloodlines and bank accounts. Screw the rules. But Nia cared. "I heard what he said," she told him that night, "about how it looks. Doesn't matter." It does. Jin-woo, your world. I don't fit. You know I don't fit. You fit with me. That's all that matters. For now. But what about later? What about when you get tired of slumming it with the cleaning girl? What about when reality sets in? That's not going to happen. You don't know that. I do. How? Because he'd already decided. Because the ring was already bought. Because he knew, the way you know things in your bones, that she was it. But he didn't say that yet. Instead, he pulled her close. "Trust me. Please." She did. But he could feel her fear. The plan was to propose at Christmas. Romantic, traditional, give her time to get comfortable with his world. But then his staff forced his hand. It happened on a Wednesday in late October. Jin-woo came home from a meeting to find his head of security, his personal assistant, and his driver in the kitchen having a conversation that stopped the second he walked in. "What?" he asked. "Nothing, boss," Marcus said too quickly. "Doesn't sound like nothing." His assistant David, young, ambitious, usually smart, said, "We were just talking about Nia." Jin-woo went very still. "What about her?" "About how, look, we know you're seeing her. We're happy for you. But some of us were wondering, is it serious? Why does that matter? Because if it's not serious, maybe..." David trailed off. "Maybe what?" Carlos, his driver, jumped in. "Maybe one of us could take a shot. She's beautiful, boss, sweet, and she's single." Jin-woo had Carlos against the wall before the sentence finished. "She's not single, she's mine. And if any of you touch her, look at her wrong, or even think about asking her out, you're fired and you'll be lucky if that's all that happens. Am I clear?" "Crystal," Carlos gasped. Jin-woo released him, stepped back, looked at all 3 men. "Nia Thompson is not available. She's with me, permanently. And anyone who has a problem with that can leave now." Nobody left, but he saw their faces, saw the surprise, the respect, the understanding. They'd thought he was just playing around. He wasn't. That night, Jin-woo made a decision. He invited Nia to dinner at the mansion. Thursday night. Just them. She arrived at 7 p.m. wearing jeans and a sweater, casual, comfortable herself. He loved that she didn't dress up for him anymore, didn't perform. They had dinner in the formal dining room. His chef had prepared Korean food, galbi, japchae, kimchi jjigae, and Nia ate like she'd been raised on it, comfortable with chopsticks, complimenting the flavors. "You've had Korean food before," Jinwoo observed. "Grew up in Koreatown. My best friend in high school was Korean. Her mom fed me constantly." She smiled. "I miss her. She moved to New York for college. You have good memories there. Some of the best, some of the worst. It's complicated." Everything about her life was complicated. After dinner, they moved to the living room, sat on his expensive couch, drank wine. "Can I ask you something?" Nia said. "Anything. What do you tell people about me?" "What do you mean?" "Your staff, your business partners, your family. When they ask about the young black woman you're seeing, what do you say?" Jinwoo set down his wine. "I tell them you're the woman I'm in love with." Nia's breath caught. He'd never said it before. "You love me?" she whispered. "Yes." "Since when?" "Since the first day. Maybe before. I don't know. I just know that when you're here, the world makes sense. And when you're gone, nothing does." She was crying. "Jinwoo, I know it's fast. I know it's crazy. I know every logical reason why this shouldn't work. But I don't care. I love you, Nia. And I need you to know that before I ask you what I'm about to ask you." He stood, walked to his desk, pulled out the black velvet box, came back and got down on one knee in front of her. Nia's hands flew to her mouth. "No," she said. "No, you're not. Nia Thompson. I'm 40 years old. You're 23. I'm a workaholic billionaire with anger issues and a family that will judge you. You're a beautiful, kind, brilliant woman who deserves someone easier. But I'm asking anyway, because I can't imagine my life without you, because you make me want to be better, because I love you." He opened the box. The diamond caught the light. 8 carats of perfect clarity mounted on platinum, the kind of ring that cost more than she'd make in a decade of cleaning houses. "Will you marry me?" Nia was sobbing, full body sobs, tears running down her face. "This is insane," she gasped. "I know." "We've been together 3 months. I know. Your family will hate me. I don't care. Society will judge us. Let them. The age difference. Doesn't matter. I'm nobody. You're everything." He took her shaking hands. "Nia, you're everything. And I don't want to wait. I don't want to date for 2 years and do this properly. I don't want to ease into it. I want you. Now. Forever. I want to marry you and build a life with you and give you everything you've never had. Please. Say yes." She looked at him through her tears, at this powerful, dangerous man kneeling in front of her, vulnerable, offering her the world. "Why?" she whispered. "Why me?" "Because you see me. Not my money, not my power. Me. You see the man I am when everything else is stripped away, and you love him anyway." "I do love him." "Then say yes." Nia Thompson, 23 years old, cleaning houses for $15 an hour, looked at the billionaire proposing to her with an $850,000 ring and said, "Yes, God help me, yes." Jinwoo slid the ring onto her finger, kissed her, and felt, for the first time in his 40 years, complete. The engagement announcement was complicated. Jinwoo's father called from Seoul at 3 a.m. LA time, which meant he'd been up all night furious. "You're marrying who?" "Her name is Nia Thompson. She's American. She's brilliant. You'll love her. She's black. Yes. She's 23. Yes. She cleans houses. She did. She's my fiancé now. Jinwoo, you cannot do this. The family will not accept. The family will accept what I tell them to accept. I'm 40 years old, Father. I've built everything you asked me to build. I've played by every rule. Now I'm making my own choice. Her name is Nia. She will be my wife, and you will treat her with respect, or you will not be part of my life. Choose." Silence. Then, "I want to meet her." "You will. At the wedding." "This is a mistake." "No. My marriage to Sun-hee was a mistake. This is the first right thing I've done in years." He hung up. Nia had heard the whole conversation. She was crying. "He hates me. He doesn't know you. He'll never accept me. He doesn't have to. I accept you. That's enough." But it wasn't. Not really. Over the next 2 months, Jinwoo introduced Nia to his world, his business partners, his staff, his associates in the less legal parts of his empire. Most were polite, some were openly skeptical, a few were cruel. "She's beautiful," one of his investors said at a dinner party. "But does she understand what she's getting into? Your world is complicated." "She understands," Jinwoo said coldly. "Does she? She's very young." "She's brilliant. Don't confuse youth with ignorance." But the comments wore on her. He could see it. The way she'd flinch when someone mentioned the age difference. The way she'd go quiet when people discussed business she didn't understand. The way she'd look at the other women, polished, educated, wealthy, and see herself as less than. "I don't belong here," she told him one night after a particularly brutal charity gala where women had literally turned their backs on her. "You belong with me. That's not the same thing. What do you need?" "I don't know. Education? Refinement? Money of my own? I feel like I'm playing dress up. Like everyone can see I'm pretending." "You're not pretending. You're adapting. Is there a difference?" Jinwoo pulled her close. "What if I told you I'd pay for college? Full ride, UCLA, USC, wherever you want. Get your business degree, build your company, be my equal in every way." "You're already my equal." "I don't feel like it." "Then let me change that. Please." She agreed. Jinwoo enrolled her at UCLA for spring semester, paid tuition, set up an account with $100,000 for living expenses, made her his partner, not his dependent, watched her bloom. The wedding was planned for June, small ceremony, just family and close friends. Jinwoo didn't want a spectacle. He wanted Nia to feel safe. But 2 weeks before the wedding, his father arrived from Seoul, unannounced. Jinwoo came home to find his father sitting in the living room, his mother beside him, both looking like they'd come to conduct an intervention. "We need to talk," his father said. "About this marriage." Jinwoo felt Nia tense beside him. She'd been excited about meeting his parents. Now she looked terrified. "Nia, this is my father, Park Jin-ho, and my mother, Park Mi-sun. Father, mother, this is my fiancée, Nia Thompson." Nia bowed slightly, respectful, proper. "It's an honor to meet you both." His mother smiled. Small, but genuine. "She's beautiful." "Jinwoo." His father didn't smile. "Can we speak privately?" "No," Jinwoo said. "Anything you have to say, you can say in front of Nia." "Fine. You're making a mistake. This girl—" "Woman," Jinwoo corrected. "This woman. This woman is too young, too different, too— She's not what you need." "She's exactly what I need." "You don't know that. You're infatuated. In 6 months you'll regret this." "I won't." "How do you know?" "Because I loved Sun-hee the way you and Mother taught me to love, with logic, with strategy, with appropriateness. And I was miserable. I love Nia with everything I have. And I'm happy, actually happy, for the first time in my life." His mother stood, walked to Nia, took her hands. "Do you love my son?" "More than anything," Nia whispered. "Do you see him? Not his money, not his power. Him? Yes. I see him. Then welcome to the family. She kissed Nia's forehead. His father stood stiffly. If you do this, there will be consequences. The family in Seoul can deal with it or not. I don't care. I'm marrying her, father, with your blessing or without it. Choose. His father looked at him, at Nia, at his wife's approving face. Finally, he sighed. She makes you happy? Yes. Then, I suppose I have no choice. He extended his hand to Nia. Welcome. It wasn't warm, but it was acceptance. They married on a Saturday in June. Small ceremony in the mansion's garden, 50 guests, string quartet, white roses everywhere. Nia wore a simple white dress that made her look like an angel. Jinwoo wore a tuxedo and cried when she walked down the aisle because he'd never thought he could have this. Love, real love, the kind that made your chest ache. They said vows they wrote themselves. His, I promise to see you always, to choose you always, to love you even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. You saved me, Nia. Let me spend the rest of my life returning the favor. Hers, I promise to be your partner, your equal, your home. You gave me everything. But the greatest gift wasn't the money or the security, it was being seen. I see you too, and I choose you. Every day, forever. They kissed. Everyone cried. Even his father, though he'd deny it later. 5 years later. The house was different now. Not the mansion in Bel Air. They'd sold that. Too big, too cold, too full of Jinwoo's old life. They'd bought something smaller, though still massive by normal standards. A house in Pasadena with a yard and character and room for the family they were building. Nia had graduated from UCLA with honors. Started her own cleaning company, Thompson Elite Services, that paid workers $25 an hour and provided benefits and treated people with dignity. It was profitable, growing, hers. Jinwoo had stepped back from the dangerous parts of his business, focused on legitimate ventures, real estate, tech, things he could be proud of. They had a daughter, Sophie, 2 years old. Beautiful mix of both of them. Her mother's skin and smile, her father's eyes and determination. On their 5th anniversary, they sat on their back patio watching Sophie chase butterflies. Do you regret it? Nia asked. Marrying me? Every day, Jinwoo said. She looked at him, hurt flashing. He smiled. I regret that I didn't do it sooner, that I wasted 40 years being someone else, that I almost missed this. We were always going to find each other. Were we? Yes, some things are inevitable. Jinwoo pulled her close, kissed her temple, watched their daughter play. Thank you, he said quietly. For what? For saying yes, for seeing me, for giving me this. You gave me everything first. No, you gave me everything. I just provided the means. Sophie ran over, demanding to be picked up. Jinwoo lifted her, this perfect little human they'd made, and felt something he'd spent 40 years searching for. Peace. Nia rested her head on his shoulder. I love you, she said. I love you too, my wife, my partner, my home. And Jinwoo Kang, 45 years old, former ghost, current husband and father, understood something profound. The best proposal wasn't the one with the biggest ring. It was the one where you offered your whole self and someone said yes anyway. Everything else was just details. Epilogue. Before you go, remember, comment more proposals. If you want more stories of unexpected love, age gap romance, and proof that sometimes the heart knows before the head does, like and subscribe. We're building something beautiful here. And tell us in the comments, have you ever taken a chance on love that society said wouldn't work? Have you ever proposed or been proposed to in an unexpected way? Have you ever known someone was the one before logic agreed? Your story matters. Share this video. Let's remind the world that love doesn't ask permission. It doesn't check birth certificates or bank accounts or social status. Love just finds two people who see each other's souls and says, This is what matters. Everything else is just noise.